$500 is nothing. $1,000 is nothing. Especially like, oh yeah, I make $1,000 in a day. Well, that's nothing to spend. You may think it's, oh, he spent $1,000 on me, girl, blah, 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 blah. He didn't have to do much. He didn't have to learn you. And that is where the value is, Lord. If a guy doesn't have to really learn you to get something from you, you've lowered your value. The value increases when he learns you. He learns what you're about. He learns you got some kind of character. He learns you got some kind of morals. Then that's when you can actually raise the value. This is how fathers raise the value of their daughters. Like the story in the Bible in regards to Laban and Jacob. Laban and them set the terms where he works for 7 years to have his daughter Rachel. He literally has to work for 7 years. So he's working on Laban's land. He's learning who Laban is. He's learning his property, everything that he has, what goes on with his daughters, just to get her. What's going on? This is WillMyCraven coming to you today with another video. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Feel free to leave a comment. We would gladly appreciate it. Down below in the description, there is a place where you can make a donation. Gladly appreciate it. You can just type that in and feel free to leave a donation if you will. Also, hopefully you've had a wonderful day, whether it's morning, noon, or night. You were capable of waking up today, and regardless of what transpired, you had the opportunity to make the most of this day. So, with that being said, blessings to you, peace be unto you. Topic that I know that may strike ruffle a few feathers. In regards to women, value. Might have done this before, but just a little different. Just having a conversation with a female, and we were talking about this, and I figured I'd do a video in regards to it. But over the course of time, women have the ability now to pick their own suitors. And unfortunately, in them picking, their value has lowered tremendously, unfortunately. And this is where it's created a big problem. And I don't think they may view it as a problem, but compared to when their fathers were picking the guy and vetting the guy, as opposed to them vetting the guy now, the drop-off has been tremendous throughout the course of time. Way back when they got a lot of value. The fathers got a lot of value out of their daughters, and now there's a lot of women out here who aren't even getting the value of a $5 big box. Like you selling yourself for a Happy Meal. You selling yourself for a Ruth Chris. You selling yourself for a Fendi bag. You selling yourself to be flown out somewhere, wine and dine. That's still low value. You think because a guy, maybe he spent $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, that your value was raised. But look, guys are going to spend whatever just to hit. And that's low value. If he's spending his money doing certain things just to get some, you've lowered your value. See, there was a difference between when the fathers were having males come to them about their daughter, and they were going through vigorous trials and circumstances for that man to make sure that he was worthy enough for his daughter. And he paid a price for his daughter. And he spent time with that man so that he learned him and they learned each other, and that they would be capable of being able to withstand and take care of their daughter. $500 is nothing. $1,000 is nothing. Especially you like, oh yeah, I make $1,000 in a day. Well, that's nothing to spend. You may think it's, oh, he spent $1,000 on me, girl, blah, 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 blah. He didn't have to do much. He didn't have to learn you. And that is where the value is, Laura. If a guy doesn't have to really learn you to get something from you, you've lowered your value. The value increases when he learns you. He learns what you're about. He learns you got some kind of character. He learns you got some kind of morals. Then that's when you can actually raise the value. This is how fathers raise the value of their daughters. Like the story in the Bible in regards to Laban and Jacob. Laban and them set the terms where he works for 7 years to have his daughter Rachel. He literally has to work for 7 years. So he's working on Laban's land. He's learning who Laban is. He's learning his property, everything that he has, what goes on with his daughters, just to get her. He has to then turn around and work another 7 years, because what Laban does is give him Leah instead of Rachel. So he works 14 years before he gets Rachel. And he works 7 years in order to get Leah. And then he's there for another at least 7 or he's there about 20-some years before he decides to take his family and leave. You see all that value that Laban got out of Jacob, and the value that he got out of his daughters too. He made them be of high value. The father determined that. A lot of you all women that thinking you determine your value, or if I make him wait 3 months. 3 months compared to 7 years. 3 months compared to maybe a year or two. If communication. See, there's one thing I've learned about communication and having real serious conversations with women. You can trigger a woman just off communication alone. You ain't even got to touch her for her actually to experience some type of climax. You don't. I know this firsthand. So deep connection can be had without actually sexual intercourse. And I'm sure there are women who've experienced this matter before with various guys, which those guys is like, they're just different. They register different. They hit different. Therefore, as a woman, when you experience that type of guy and he's in control and he turns around and tells you when he decides he wants to, it's a whole different level of power, which then creates a whole different level of intimacy. And you get triggered differently. And then you find yourself getting weak. Then you're finding yourself feeling vulnerable. And then you find yourself afraid possibly because now you're losing control because this guy makes you feel a total different way than the other guys did before. So to say, oh, okay, well, I want to just hit and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you know, that's fine and dandy. There's a whole different level of power when you, as a man, when you control it. And the same conversation I had with a female friend, like, yeah, that's some dangerous stuff that we don't like because that's a whole different level of power that we just start getting a little discombobulated and we get so emotionally attached that we losing control and we don't like to lose control and you that's just dangerous. But it's possible to do that. But if you're not if you're not allowing whoever it is that's another man in your family to turn around and help you set your value, you're gonna get low value. Then you're gonna look up and you wonder why when you did it your way, and then he turns around and he leaves after he didn't got it. Because your value was low based upon where you set the mark, as opposed to where a man sets the mark. Another man is going to set your value higher because he's going to make sure this guy's not going to mess you over. It's like having an agent present. Like, all right, we're going to negotiate this contract. Yeah, now you realize there's some representation here. Yeah, you're not going to pull this tomfoolery. But, this happens because a lot of women just simply don't know the games of what men play and what angle they're playing. Because it comes down to whether we get the cookies or not, or if we want to savor the cookies or not. Or a better one would be if we decide we want to pop the cork on the champagne right then, or if we gonna let the wine marinate for a little longer, raise the value, let it simmer. Well, it wouldn't simmer, let it just marinate, ferment. But with that being said, you all want to raise your value, you should really look into having, whether your father's still alive or a reputable guy. Vet the guy who's interested in you. Guys respect guys until we see that they ain't worth a nickel. As opposed to women, we're going to tell you whatever it is we think you want to hear. And once we see that we finally figured out what it is that you want to hear, we're going to stay in that lane until we get what we can get and keep it moving. And some of you all are really nice, really good. But once you got that way, you get corrupted. And it's unfortunate. Now your feelings are hurt. Now you move different. Now you're more protective, defensive. And then the next man comes along, has to play that defensive fighting game, which becomes unnecessary. But with that being said, it's WillMyCraven. Hit that like, share, subscribe button, leave a comment. Gladly appreciate it. Fix your face, fix your spirit. With that being said, be easy.